Bitcoin and ETH at pivotal levels as the and add myself to the stream. There we go. Been an interesting week. Been dealing with some family stuff and taking care of people around here and watching the market do what it does. Today, Fed rate decision day. Quarter point baked into the mix. At this stage, any surprise from that really is just going to be an absolute shocker to the market. And quite frankly, Fed Chair Powell has really worked hard not to surprise the market. So I'd be very, very, I'd be surprised, and quite frankly, so would the rest of the market, if that doesn't happen today. I want to take a look, and in fact, I'm going to show you what the probabilities are. It's been changing a little bit, but let's get over to, oh, actually, you know what? I want to show you this guy right here, and then I'll get into that chart. Let's look at the probabilities here on the, on the CME site. I think we're at about 95%. It was up as high as like 98% the other day. As we approach the decision here, there's a 2 o'clock meeting, a 2:30 announcement to announce the decision. Let's see if this has changed at all today. If it has, it hasn't been very up to 98.6% again. So, safe to say that this quarter point rate cut is baked in, and any change from that is just going to be, I think it would literally trigger a cascade. So, hopefully that doesn't happen, but it's the Wild West of crypto. Anything could happen here. Live stream and live chats are open, by the way. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and smash all the buttons, especially make sure you hit that subscribe button and the like and share and comments. Keep them coming. Live chat is open here on YouTube. So if you'd like to join me, I'd love to have you with me. Aknak, good to have you here. Hey, man. And as per usual, if you have questions, send them. I'll do my best to address them. This has been a really busy week. I had to take my wife for surgery the other day, and I had a bunch of people asking me to look at charts that I quite frankly didn't have time to do. So maybe we can squeeze some of that in today if you guys are interested. But really, I'm going to focus on Bitcoin and ETH. We'll look at those kind of longer term views and what we might expect over the near term, I guess. And then, I guess we could maybe look at some higher targets as well. So let's start today on the candle chart. Obviously, we have hit an all-time high yesterday. We got a new trend precognition signal, really strong one, actually. Let's see what that's measuring at right now. Yesterday, it was around 53% when it started. Now it's a 72% probability. Actually, well played at this point that we would not, basically what this says is that not just that price is going to go, not necessarily the price is going to go lower, but it did, of course, but that price is not likely to create a new all-time high and pass yesterday's high today, which I think is a pretty safe bet. Doing so would obviously invalidate that, but we have confluent signals between the A2 plus algo up here, the arrows, and the A1 algo down here, and the A1 slope line pointing down. I think all signs point to the fact that we're not going to see this broken today. And the reason, even if we get this rate cut, this cut is baked in, right? I just showed you 98% of Fed watchers think that this quarter point cut is coming. So, the price is, that's baked into price at this stage. So that doesn't mean that we can't make a new all-time high tomorrow or next week or whatever. But, when we get these big runs and we get new all-time highs, it's safe to expect a bit of a pullback. And another reason, even if we weren't having the Fed rate decision today, look at this candle, kind of an anemic candle, right? Pretty weak and on relatively low volume here. So those are all signs that this was not really a strong move. Yes, we got an all-time high out of it, a new all-time high. We're in price discovery. We all know that. But this was not really a strong move. This was just thin liquidity getting exploited in the order book, in my opinion. Speaking of liquidity and demand, let's go ahead and look at speaking of liquidity, let's go ahead and look at fire charts, and we can see we have more ask liquidity stacking at the 110 million level, and we have bid support down here at the 103K level, with secondary support down here at 95K. That would be a big pullback, right? Not a massive one, not the big correction that we're all looking for, but that I think would shake some people out here. And what I want to, if we dial into the daily chart where we get a little bit more granular, we can see that these asks are pushing down, trying to suppress price and push it down maybe into this 103K level to get filled down here. And of course, you can see more bids stacked at 100K. And here's that heavier concentration down there at that 95K level we looked at a few minutes ago. And in terms of what's happening with sell pressure, you can see that the whales, have been selling here in this range after yesterday's all-time high. That's not a surprise to me, and that's not any reason to panic. So, hey guys, Santos, nice to see you here. As usual, Waka's, nice to see you here. As usual, your evening is my late to mid-morning. It's only about 11:15 a.m. here in sunny Miami, Florida. Let's go. I wanted to show you guys something, a couple things, right? For those of you who've been watching here this week, you know that I've been talking about, December 17th or somewhere thereabouts being an important day because of the history. I'm not going to go into all the events that have happened historically on this date, but you can look back at any of the analysis over the past couple of days to review this. I've also got some charts posted on the X channel, but it's not necessarily December 17th. Last year it happened, or 2 years ago rather, it happened on December 16th, but we're in this window, right? So basically what this trend is something that I've identified, that we have major macro moves. Often they're trend reversals. If not a reversal, just a macro move in terms of a breakout or something like that, right? So let's just kind of look at where we are at the moment and see if we can hone in on something that may be significant and keep this pattern going. We did have a couple of things I think that are significant here. Obviously, we flipped back on the 15th. We flipped the 1.618 fib. That was the macro from the prior all-time high down to the swing low, meaning the 69K level down to the FTX crash around 15.5. Then we have the fact that we RS flipped on the 16th. We RS flipped the prior all-time high, which was, depending on what exchange you're at, 103K and change. On Binance, I think it was right at around 104K. Either way, we RS flipped that, yes, on the 16th. That might be the move. And yesterday we made a new all-time high, and now we're reverting. Maybe that's the move, right? So is the move that we flipped it and we're gonna build out of this, or is the move that we peaked yesterday and we're going to see things revert? Well, a reversion or a correction, anyways. I think, based on what I have been analyzing on the broader view of the market, I think that the bull market is still very much intact. I think that a deeper correction would be appropriate at some point in time. It's expected. It hasn't happened yet. It could land in a lot of places. The 21-day moving average would be a nice test, but certainly not the deep correction that I've been expecting. But hey, we could pull back from there. We know we have some bids at stacked at 100K. That would be just fine. Taking it down to the 50-day moving average, that goes beyond that 95K level where we have a nice concentration of bid liquidity. But it does take us to an area with some confluence in terms of resistance support. Going even deeper, about 30% gets us down to 77.6, and that has significance because we have a CME gap fill down in this range, right? So that's a possibility. And I'm not saying this is going to happen today. I'm just saying that it's something that we need to be aware of, that it could happen at any time, and it typically happens when it's least expected. What chart am I on? We'll get to that one soon enough. Where did my chart go? Well, we can do it from here. That's okay. Um, Not sure how I did that, but okay. So it could come from any of these places, right? And then we go down, deep. We're talking deep corrections now. 35% would get us down to the prior all-time high and the 200-day moving average. And if things really get nasty, and this is borderline black swan. I mean, we're still within the trend. A 50% move to the downside still keeps us within the trend. That trend, in my opinion, is the strongest place for foundational support. We touched on that a bit yesterday as well. And so those are all things to keep in mind. So, Wakas asks the question, will you buy the dip, sir? I can answer that with complete certainty. Absolutely, yes. I do think that as long as price stays above this trend line, I think that this market is healthy, and I think that we have a lot of things that point to that, including the fact that we have obviously an administration that is claims to be crypto friendly. We'll have to see how that all pans out, because we know historically the words that come out of politicians' faces during campaigns are not necessarily the things they execute. So we'll see how that goes. Um, will I buy the dip under 100K today, sir? Oh, so you're saying that you think it's going to go below 100K today? Well, I don't know if it will go below 100K today, and I would look at the circumstances around that. I have, I would say this, that my long term Bitcoin position is built, and so I do have some powder on the sidelines to take advantage of some opportunities, and when they present themselves, whether that's in alts or in Bitcoin, I've got some powder set aside to do that. So I might, depending on what the volume looks like and what support looks like, if we get a pullback to 100K today, I may take a little, but I'm kind of taking pride in the fact that I don't have any orders above 100K. I don't have any orders above 80K, as a matter of fact. So we'll see. If I do that, I may just kind of take advantage of what's happening here, and whether I use that as a scalp or and recycle those funds into more powder. But what I don't want to do, I don't want to get caught selling and then try to buy back and not get back in at a good rate. So I'll be watching that very closely. Taha asking the question, will I buy every dip? No, I won't buy every dip, because I don't need to. There's a difference between being a trader and being an investor, and I do both, of course. But in terms of my long-term Bitcoin position, that is now in investment status, and I'm willing to hold on to that until we see the cycle top. Whether we've reached cycle top yesterday with a new all-time high or not is open for discussion. I seem to think that we are not. ACNAC is asking me to check Filecoin and its potential moves. All right, let me do this. I will get to that in a moment. I wanted to first look at Bitcoin and ETH, and then we'll get to Filecoin or Filecoin. Okay, so this is my worst case scenario for Bitcoin. I think a 20 to 50% correction is in store for us at some point in time, and that 50% would take us to the trend line, and I think that would be freaking rock solid support. If that holds, a breakdown from there, I'm closing my positions, right? And so my dollar cost average position is also below this trend line. So I'm happy with that, but I don't want to give it all back. So if I start seeing things break down, I will start to fade out of my long a bit and use those profits to buy back in cheaper, whether that happens at 100, whether that happens at 95, whether that happens at 77 or lower, remains to be seen. But I do have some stink bids down here just in case that happens, because I don't want to miss out. Also, what's cool about this is it is confluent with our double bottom here around that 54K level. So that's notable. Um, so I've been doing something else that I want to share with you in terms of drawing trend lines, and my partner and our developer on material indicators has shown me a strategy that he's using that I think is pretty interesting. So I'm going to share it with you. As we know, that drawing trend lines is a bit subjective. So these trend lines were drawn using basically by using the trend on the 12-month chart. Let me show you how I did this, and then you can see how this works, and you could draw this for yourself if you want as well. Um, so we've drawn these trend lines on the 12-month chart, and what I do is I use the bars to make it real easy, right? And you just place it at the open, and so I did open to open on the last year, and then I moved to the quarterly chart and copy paste that trend line on the macro and copy paste it to the opens and closes of each quarter since then. And what we see now is that Bitcoin is trading at a level that is right around the really hovering on this trend line. We've been above it and below it here this week. In fact, if we go to the daily, we're probably below it, right? So we're trying to RS flip this annual trend here, and right now we've lost it. So we're seeing support here on a quarterly. At the moment, we'll see if this holds here at 100 and so around 103K. So we'll be watching for that. If it does, if we do lose it, then yeah, as Wakas suggested, we could go down to that 100K level, maybe even lower, right? So that's something I'll be watching, right? If this breaks, then this is the next in terms of macro trend support. This is the next support down here on the quarterly level. Now I want to look at ETH, because ETH obviously is something that we've been watching for a long time as well. And ETH was, in my opinion, has actually had, despite the fact that it hasn't really had a major breakout, we've had a decent run here on ETH above the golden pocket. That's the 0.5 fib and the 0.618, right? Here's the golden pocket. We broke above that back in November, and we've had resistance, strong resistance here at the 0.786 fib. So this is what needs to be broken to get above, back into all-time high territory for ETH, which is here at the 48, almost 49K level, 4,800, almost 4,900 level. And then we could, get into those potential new all-time highs, 5K or higher for ETH. So let's do the same thing, and let's do the same thing for ETH on that macro trend chart that I just drew, right? So macro trends, we have ETH USD, and I think I drew it. I thought I drew it on maybe I did it on Binance. Where the hell's the chart? Bro. I can't believe this didn't save. You got to be kidding me. All right. I'm not going to draw this right now because it's kind of time consuming. But that's a bummer. Why didn't that save? I don't get it. Hang on a second. Because I wasn't picking the right chart. I did it on this chart. I know I did. And it ain't there. All right. Well, I'm going to have to recreate. That's something going on with TradingView, because I actually did that Bitcoin chart last night and I had to recreate it again today. So that's a bummer. Nonetheless, I think that we've got to watch these levels. Both of these coins are trading at pivotal levels, in my opinion. And so in terms of what ETH does from here, looking to see if it can hold above the 618. If not, then we're going to see potentially a bigger breakdown back down to the 0.5. or maybe stop somewhere in between. You have the 50-day, the 50-week moving average is the red one here at around 3,000, and you have the 21-week moving average down here around the 0.5 fib. Those are very interesting levels that I think we need to watch. But maybe things can hold here and take another run at this. Since we're not getting, like I said, not likely to see a new all-time high based on these trend precognition signals. We're not likely to see that today. I do think that once we get that rate cut decision, it could at least spark a bounce rather than a continued breakdown from here. So we'll have to wait and see how that happens. Waka saying that strategy fits liquidity injections on the quarterly strategy as well. All right, cool. Great. So let me hook Aknak here, and this is live in the fire here, guys, because I have not looked at this chart in a long time. Bill USDT. Let's see if I've looked at this at all lately. Okay, I've got some charting on this, so I have looked at it a while ago. Let's see if I can remember what I did and why I have this target here. As you can see, we have what appears to be the breakout move that happened. Surprise, November 5th, right? Big move. Lots of alts had that big move. We didn't get the, in terms of alt season, I was expecting a bigger alt season. I wasn't, to be honest with you. I missed some of this because I wasn't in tune to what was happening. I was so hyper focused on what was happening with Bitcoin at the time that I wasn't really watching the alts soar, and many of them did. I mean, look at what would we do here since November? I mean, you've already got a massive move, right? What's that? I think I got the magnet tool on. That's what's making me crazy. That's over 150% move, 160%. So are you greedy and you want more? Looks like it. So you can see the breakdown here. Came back down to support at this support level, recovered, but now finding resistance at the 21-day moving average. Maybe it comes back down and retest support here at that about 5.7 level. I must have been contemplating a trade down here back when I did this back in around Thanksgiving. Around that breakout from the 200-day moving average. Can't remember if I took that trade or not. Anyways, that's what I'd be looking at here. I'd be looking to see if we get a bounce from this $5.73 level as a potential bounce zone. Let's see what the fib looks like. Do I even have a fib extension on this one? Let's see. Haven't drawn that. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do some macro fib work here, right? Let's go there. Let's do this. So you can, that's not the macro from the all-time high, but it is from the prior high, right? The swing high to the swing low, and we have a solid rejection from the 0.618 fib. So no surprise there. Falling through the golden pocket and falling through the 382, not signs of strength. So you're looking for support somewhere around the trend line here that we talked about. I can go ahead and get these out of the way. Looking for support around the support line, which let's see where the confluence is on that. Okay, so that's actually a pretty good zone there. Pretty strong RS flip in this range. So we'll have to see if this holds. So that's what I'm looking for. If it loses that, then I'd be looking at the key moving averages below that. That's the 50-day, the 100 and the 200 respectively. Let's see what those look like on the weekly time frame and see if that changes anything. Well, you've got a bounce here from the 50-week moving average. That's the red one. So that's just below this RS flip zone that I've marked here at $5.73. So you could potentially see a bounce from here. Looks like it's headed in that direction now. So watch that one closely and see if it holds. Let me look at one other deal here. While we're looking at alts, let's look at Litecoin. Lots of noise about Litecoin lately, right? So let's see if we have anything significant that we can report on Litecoin. I don't know why I went to USD. Go to USDT. Oh, I have. What am I doing? I have a Litecoin chart up. I know I do. There we go. So Litecoin also coming off the highs recently, as high as 147. But I think that this coin still has room to go. Certainly had higher highs, and so lots of hype on this coin. But I think a lot of the hype is actually warranted. I don't know that it's hype. I think there's some good fundamental strength around this one. So that's why I'm personally trading it or holding it for the moment. We'll see what happens, right? I don't like this breakdown below the 21-day moving average. I don't like that at all. Maybe a hold here at the 50 if it comes to that. Again, my position is in profit, so I will probably go back and look at where I sit and maybe slide a trailing stop loss into the profit zone to protect what I have, so I don't give it all back. Right? I'm fine with giving some back as long as I don't give it all back and move into the red. Right? So that would be sub $100 Bitcoin, right? 97. Litecoin, $97, $98. A loss of that 50-day moving average is going to send it lower, in my opinion. Let's see what it looks like on the weekly, see if we get any confluence here. So we do have a 200-week moving average coming into focus. And look, all three other moving averages are pretty much aligned right here. And what we're about to get, it looks like, is an epic golden cross of these moving averages starting to unwind. So that's something to watch here, right? This is, typically signals a move back up. So that also something to watch here, guys. Hope that gives you some insight as to what's happening. Again, we have a Fed rate decision coming up. Decision is going to be at 2 o'clock. Fed Chair Powell comes up at 2:30 with the announcement of what's going on, but the news will already have released by 2 p.m. I'll leave you with a parting shot of Bitcoin price action on fire charts. Let's refresh that guy and see if we've got anything noteworthy here. What's going on? Load, baby, load. There we go. Yeah, a little bit of a dent here. It looks like maybe did that get hit? How low did we go? We went down to 103, 173. So it hasn't broken through that 103, and it looks like that's turned into a ladder of bid liquidity. So that's something we need to watch here, right? Let's go back to the daily. We're bouncing from this at the moment. A little bit of buy volume coming in, including whales, but when liquidity is thin like this, right? In these zones where liquidity is thin, whales can't make whale size orders. Otherwise, there's going to be major slippage. So they could, as they did last week, start to disguise some of their orders in some of the smaller classes like yellow and green, which they did, I think, about a week ago. So be watching for that. Again, rate decision coming up at 2 o'clock. That's about 2.5 hours from now. So we get that news, maybe we start to see things climb back up. Hope that gives you some insight. If you're interested in any of the tools, you can find them all at materialindicators.com. I've got links down in the description on the YouTube video. And you can also, of course, go to the Material Indicators page on X, which is at @MI_algos. Have a good one, guys. Trade safe.